Hey fam, anybody out there football fans? I mean, I know it's that time of season where on Sunday afternoon you probably sitting down in front of the screen or at your favorite lounge spot watching your team.
Yeah.
Us, we are huge Ravens fans.
Right, be more.
What's that chant? But you ever be watching the game and your team score or your team get hyped and then you get hyped? Like it's just like energy flows through you as if you're there playing the game.
Yeah.
Well, that's for your favorite team. How about your home team? Not the one that you cheer for in a stadium, but the one that's in your house. How do they motivate you and how do you motivate them?
And
I'm Al.
And y'all know here at Forever I Do, we brag.
Yes. Build relationships
according to God. So you're back for part 3 of how do you turn your house into a home?
Yeah.
So we talked about being honoring in your home. You came back and talked about how do you make your home open? And now we're going to talk about what motivates everyone in the home.
Yeah, because again, a central piece of making that house a home is making sure that everybody feels included and equally motivated.
Yeah.
Not only to go outside of the home to accomplish what they need to accomplish, but to come back into the home. Is home a place that motivates them, that make them believe that they can achieve whatever it is that they want to achieve inside and outside the home?
Yeah, so the first thing that you have to do is define it. What does it mean to be motivating?
Yes. How do you motivate those inside your home? You have to define what that looks like. And that only happens in those conversations. You got to know how to tap into each person in your home because everyone is different.
Mm-hmm.
And it will require something different to motivate each person.
Right.
Just like on your favorite sports team, whether it's football, basketball, soccer, whatever it may be, those coaches have to know how to tap into each individual player to motivate them and to get the best out of them. Because if you're lackluster or you just don't have energy in your home or outside your home, it's very little that you will actually accomplish.
Yeah, and I like how you said that it comes through conversation. Like you can't know what motivates me if you don't talk to me.
Yeah.
So it's so important. Like we try to set aside time to like talk to each other. We set aside time to talk to our kids because we want to know what's going on in their heads. And it might not always be this is what motivates me, but sometimes through your conversations you can understand what is motivating people in your home.
Yeah. And it's important because when you're having those bad days and you get that phone call and they just having one of those days where they need a pick-me-up, if you don't know what motivates them and kind of remember their why when sometimes they may forget it, then now it just becomes a conversation of just complaining and you're just joining in on their sorrow or their woe is me, instead of picking them back up and reminding them of what it is they're doing and why it is that they're doing it, and tapping into whatever you need to tap in to motivate them to go back to do what is probably their passion of things.
And sometimes you just fall off the wayside.
Yeah, that's true.
So now that you define it, the next thing that you have to do is decide how to do it.
Yes. Again, like you define how to motivate them. Now you got to decide, how am I going to accomplish what they just told me motivates them?
Yeah.
So my wife is a nurse. I'm not a nurse. I'm not in the medical field. So once I understand that she just loves caring for people and that's her primary goal, she goes to work because she loves taking care of people. If she loses sight of that and I don't know that that's what motivates her, and she called me and she's having one of those days, and I say, well, look how much money you make, you're a nurse, that's probably not going to get her back to where she needs to be and get her moving forward or get her out of that funk, because that's not what motivates her.
Right.
She's not doing it for the money. So again, you gotta have those conversations so you can know
Yeah.
what it is that motivates
And
them.
I think you did a really good job. Like when COVID just started and nobody knew what was going on, like my unit was the COVID unit. So I would literally come through our garage, go down the basement. I would like take everything off out there, and then I would go into our bathroom in the basement, and that's where I would wash everything down before I would come upstairs to my family. And like every day when you was creating this atmosphere, it was like something different. So like you painted one of the walls with chalk and with chalk paint, and it was like all these like motivational quotes, like you got this, and it just made me feel so good. And then I would like go to the basement door, and it was another little chalk wall. It was like welcome home, and it was just like those little things that one helped me remember my why, which you know what you talked about. But it also just made me feel so appreciated, and that they like, you know, you kind of sort of understood what was needed for me to go on.
Yes. And again, the key thing is having those conversations
Yeah.
so that you can remember, okay, I know that this will keep them going. Oh, it's one thing to motivate them outside the house. What am I going to do when they get back here too? If you aren't motivated inside of your home, then sometimes you won't want to come back into your home. And that's not just for your spouse. If you have children too, like you want to have the atmosphere in your home that motivates them to want to be in the home. Now, the problem we run into now is getting the kids to get out of the home. Like they don't want to go anywhere sometimes.
Yeah.
But I guess that's a good problem to have, that they enjoy the atmosphere so much in the home that they don't see any need sometimes to travel out. But again, like you gotta define it, and then you gotta decide, you know, how you want to do it.
And then that's right. That's the last point. You have to do it.
Yes.
Now, I think because you know, you're like the decorator with my influence of the home, but like you do a good job at like making our home feel welcome. And I think that's so important as you're being motivating. Like we have just so many things, like you can look at so many nooks and crevices in our house and you're like, man, what's that about? Well, how did you guys do that? Why did you come up with that? And it's just those types of things motivate, you know, us. Like we have an atmosphere in our house that's just kind of chill and relaxed, and we do little subtle things to make it better. I can keep going. I can brag on you all day long.
But all of it came from conversations and defining, again, what it is that motivates each other, and then deciding how we're going to accomplish it, and then actually going out and do it.
Yeah.
And that's key. So that could even be a meal. Like maybe it's your spouse's favorite meal. You come home and immediately that smell hits you, and you're just like, oh yes, welcome home. Like nobody has to say a word, but it's just like the aroma. They just say welcome home. Or we got into like
the essential oils.
Yes, a couple friend of ours got us into essential oils, and certain smells and scents. Again, just tap into something that just makes you feel relaxed. And believe it or not, being relaxed is a way to motivate you too, you know, because sometimes you need that motivation to relax after a long day.
Yeah, I love it when we come out, because you leave before us. We come out and like it's like usually lemongrass or something minty, and I'm just like, and it just, I don't know, it just makes me feel kind of warm inside. It's so good.
Yes, and again, the key is defining it and then deciding how to do it. It could even be a text. Sometimes you text your spouse a certain something, and it's just like, oh yes, can't wait to get home now. Like, and again, like ladies, guys, like you gotta know what those things are. Have those conversations, define it, decide how you're gonna do it, and then like Nike says, just do it. Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like button. If you found value in this, hit the subscribe button so that you never miss